I think, if that's okay. Could we do Jerry, then Glad, then if the...
It's fine, I'll talk to
okay. And then... Neil, sorry. Right, Jerry, sorry.
Good, I think a couple of points, Peter. I'm very heartened by a lot of what you've said, but I still think there's a couple of buts. This is a 20...
Only a couple, I'm encouraged.
Well, no, but this is a 2030 vision, and you're here tonight at a climate action gathering. And when I think about the climate change possibilities that are facing us now, even the medium range ones, not the worst ones, and the fact that we're probably on the cusp of peak oil today, never mind 23 years' time in 2030, I think that there needs to be scenario planning around, other than tweaking business as usual. I think there have to be quite radical scenario thoughts that have to be in a sort of parallel drawer.
There are.
Are there? Well, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
Okay, pardon me.
Dare I suggest it would be slightly remiss of me, especially with the reporter from the advert, who's not renowned for their positive reporting on council actions, for me to discuss publicly something that would probably be unacceptable to 95% of people in Swindon.
Okay. Well, I'm really heartened to hear that the link point is that.
You can guarantee you'll put that on paper.
The link point is that in translating an exciting vision into reality, I don't believe you have the gearage in your department at the staffing level.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And that causes great problems, because it's okay commissioning this stuff out to consultants or in new areas, but 80% of the town is retrofit.
Yeah.
And that's where you need existing staff who know how to retrofit this stuff in. So that's really what I was saying.
No, I agree. There are capacity issues in transport, and my colleagues on cabinet will know that I do bang on about these things all the time. Again, there is no quick win apart from using people like myself who are completely unqualified to design the highways network, which might not be a bad idea, and it's something that we are exploring. In terms of retrofitting. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of stuff that's buried under the roads in Swindon. Whether it's cables, pipes, all this. We need to know the locations of all that sort of stuff before anything is done on the surface. I have to be very careful about what I say, because council is always changing and things are always happening. And what we're looking at is how we realign our departments to deliver what it is that we need. So we're looking rather than just saying, well, what's our day-to-day activity? What we want to do is refocus and actually become focused on what our outcomes should be rather than what our inputs should be. So that way we can look at how perhaps some of the BAU stuff is delivered. Again, I can't say too much more, but I'm happy to discuss offline. So changes always happen, and we are acutely aware that in order to deliver, we need to look at what it is and how we are trying to deliver.
Thank you.
Yeah. Peter, one of the things that hasn't come into conversation up to now is where the health agenda fits into this. I'm really interested to know, in terms of the strategic direction of the strategy, where are our senior strategic health managers in terms of progress? Given the fact we are right in the middle of an obesity epidemic, and there's currently about 93,000 adults in Swindon who are obese, and 19% of our school children at the age of year 6. So I want to know really where the health sector fits into the picture.
Well, I mean, this sort of fits in with what I was saying about how kids should, if you get people at a young age to develop healthy lifestyles, and it's not just about how they walk. I was watching Jamie Oliver on TV, and what he's trying to do in Rotherham, I think, is admirable. I don't know whether it will work or not, but it's actually about how do you get messages across to people. How do you enable them to change their lifestyle in a way which is beneficial to them? We work very closely within the LAA with our partners in health. When we're looking at, I suppose for me it's quite difficult because when I'm looking at transport, for me the health things are literally walk or cycle. because actually doing anything else isn't going to improve your lifestyle. With regards to delivering outcomes for health, that's something I suppose at the moment doesn't fall within my remit. I think it's something that we should actually be taking up and should be joined up. And they should be a part, certainly, of the messages that we need to send out, and perhaps even collating the information for us. I mean, I speak as someone who is, according to the BMI, obese. I think the BMI is wrong, but I don't know, maybe you disagree.
Never believe in action.
But no, absolutely valid points, and it's something that we should be doing better.
Just as an illustration of that, let me give you one example, if people may be familiar with it. I happened to be a member of Queen's Park Surgery. I came home over the summer and he suddenly said, sorry, we're all moving to Morden, I'm sure you won't mind us travelling 3 to 4 miles. Now, the PCT is supporting, or appears to be supporting that. Hey, what's happening? Joined up thinking, what? Crazy.
With regards to joined up thinking, can I bring Cllr in? Because I don't think this will work.
There's a big issue with the LAA. We know what local area agreements are. It's basically all the public sector bodies working together so that we deal with issues and outcomes rather than working in the silos. And it's been very effective. The partnership working is great. We're making a lot more progress, and frankly, if you didn't have an LAA, it would be logical to invent one. So it is working, but it's the partnership working that's important. We have ticking time bombs. We have the age demographics, which is going to hit us really badly. The bulge is moving up in Swindon quite rapidly towards the retirement age. We've got obesity coming down the line, which is going to have huge issues, and this is all going to, irrespective of all the personal issues that's going to create, huge financial issues that nobody quite knows how they're going to deal with at the moment. So it's important. We've got the strategies in place. We've got work going on all the streams to try and, if not solve the problem, reverse the trend. But that's all we'll do, is reverse the trend. Because the bottom line with nearly every one of these issues that you come up against is about personal responsibility to change things. Now, you can say that's about education, which it is, and you can say it's about communication, which it is, but somewhere along the line, people have got to start taking responsibility for what they do to themselves and their families. And if we don't get that personal responsibility coming back in, you can talk about it forevermore, and the results will be the same. And I think most people get to a point where they realise we've gone too far the wrong way, and we've actually got to do something differently and come back the other way. And I think in so many areas we're there now. It's time for change, bottom-up approach, whatever. We've got to start getting people to start taking responsibility for their lives again in a much more serious way than perhaps they have up to now. I mean, I've got a 15-year-old teenager that's I'm now become a parent again at home, and you try dragging that kid away from the computer screen. It's almost, you just want to just drag, I actually want to throw it out the window.
That's the computer game,
not him. But it is a real cultural problem that going to go out and play football. If you're football minded, yeah, it's great. But what if you're not football minded? The computer's much more appealing. So we've got some really big issues to challenge and tackle.
Because Neil.